time we introduce our next sport, we say it may have been born in the USA, but it's getting big here in Australia. Well, our next guest is actually going to the USA because he's, well, if I say he's outgrown Australia, it's probably a little bit harsh, jumping the gun a little bit, but no doubt looking forward to pursuing his gridiron career and developing it in the USA. There's a young man we had on the show about 18 months ago, and that is Lachlan Poor. Lachlan, welcome back.
It's nice to be here.
Well, maybe you could just share with us a little bit about what's happening, because you're heading over to the USA, not to go to college, but actually to go to high school.
Well, I started about 6 months ago, 7 months ago. We went to one of the camps that were held here in Perth, and one of the coaches there recommended me going to high school and finishing off my training and probably finishing off high school over there. And if I wanted to go to college, he said that would probably be the best pathway to take. And so since then, we've talked to coaches, other managers, high school informants, all those people that have tried to help me to get over to the US at the moment. And Mum had been spent a few months trying to find schools, probably try to have a perfect fit for me so I can have the same environment as I am now in, which would be private Catholic school, which I go to Newman at the moment, and coincidentally, the school I'm going to is also called Newman, which is...
I'll make it easier for you remembering where you're at school anyway.
It's like a weird question the Americans ask, what school did you go to in Australia? I'll be like, Newman.
I mean, we should probably let our listeners know that you're 15, so you're still 15, and you're playing quarterback for the Claremont Jets in the I believe you're the youngest quarterback in the whole country playing senior football.
And juniors at the moment still. I'm too young and probably too inexperienced to go up against the seniors at the moment. They got age and just, I wouldn't.
The bulk.
Yeah. Still a lot of growth for me to do before I reach that level.
Now, we talked about you last time, I think, because you've been sort of spotted as a talented player. I mean, can you just remind our listeners how you got into playing gridiron in the first place and how you seem to have just taken to it?
Well, it all started about 4 years ago, where I just finished playing water polo. They wanted me to water polo wanted me to commit fully to them, and it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I also wanted to play both sports as other sports through the year, and it wasn't really what I wanted to, because I loved rugby. I played rugby at the time, and I really enjoyed it. I just didn't really want to stop it at that point of time. And so we started looking for another summer sport, and we started looking at ice hockey and baseball, and we decided to play gridiron. So went down there, first training session, and had a good time, and kind of started on from there.
I might just get your dad, Justin's in the studio, because he was saying it was a slightly different story, that you were a pain in the backside at home and they were trying to get something to use up your energy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we, Lachlan was, hitting the teens and doing the teenage thing, sleeping in, trying to drag him out of bed for school in the morning, and doing the Ferris Bueller every couple of days.
I hope your Ferrari's safe.
Yeah. And annoying his sister. He's got 4 sisters, so we needed to get him out and get him into sport, keep playing, because he's always had a ball in his hand since he was 2. So it just seemed to be just the right timing, and we did catch that gridiron had played at North Beach Rugby League, where Lachlan was playing probably the year before when they used to play there. So it was sort of in the back of our mind, and we just recently did a holiday we just came back from holiday from the US. So it just all sort of fell into place, and we took him down there, and Lockie's mum spent time with him down there training, and the gridiron community was really welcoming, the seniors. So they made him feel part of the team. They gave him the nickname Megatron, because he was so small at the time. And
he must have shot up there.
So
Pretty tall,
he did, yeah. I think he's just about to pass me. So
he's already gone past me, listener.
so Coach Kerr, was after a few weeks, they put him in, started him off in safety, and he was small, he was tiny, and but he had a lot of passion and determination, and I think that his rugby league background was. Gave him that natural confidence. So it took him a bit of time to grow into his pads and his helmet, but but after a few weeks, Coach Kerr sort of approached us and said, look, we think he's got a lot of natural ability, and we want to try and put him into the role of quarterback and see how he goes, because he seems to have a lot of good technique and natural ability. So it just really started from there, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, really.
Well, Lachlan was just saying there how it's been a sort of long process, about 6 months or so, trying to find him a school, and one that had a fit. When I spoke to your wife, lining you guys up to come in today, she was saying that it was so refreshing to hear, I have to say, of all the sort of young sports people we've spoken to, that you as parents were looking for someone that was going to fit with him, that it was going to be the easiest place for a young teenage boy to settle, and he's going to be homesick, there's no doubt, but to find the best fit. And was it a really long and tiring task?
Yeah, I think my wife is at home rolling her eyes at the moment, shaking her head, yes. Absolutely. I mean, Melinda did a lot of the initial groundwork, just connecting with schools and networking with the local gridiron community, and so she spent a lot of time starting to work out which were the main states that really had a lot of development in terms of gridiron. So we basically had to rule out a number of different states because they had a set-out rule, just to stop schools from stacking their teams and from attracting elite sports, young sportsmen. So we had to look for the best states that had the least amount of set-out time, particularly for varsity. But we weren't too fussed, because if he could get into junior varsity, that was good enough. But so I think Texas, California, Florida, we had Nebraska on there. And Colorado as well. So we were sort of working the schools there, and Linda up late nights on the phone to admissions and emails back and forth. So it's been about 6 months. It's quite a draining process, and all the paperwork and learning all about the different rules that each states have. So. But we narrowed it down to a number of schools, and then started talking to the coaches, because we felt that it was important for Lachlan to be in a place where he was going to be an integral part of the team, and not just sort of we wanted him to have that development where it's going to be a match that was going to be right for the team, and that was going to be right for him. So it was important to have the coaches' input as well.
Now, as exciting as this is for Lachlan, and the excitement's going to have to be matched by hard work to make it worthwhile, I mean, for you, his parents, apart from the financial costs for you, the time and effort you put into all of this, when he actually gets on the plane and goes, that's your teenage son leaving. How's Mum coping? Has she got it? Has she figured that out? That's actually what's going to happen.
She's blocking it out.
Only boy as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. He's the oldest and their only son. So, no, look, we are incredibly proud with, just how far he's come. The work isn't done. I think the good thing is that we will be going with him and just helping him settle in. So I guess there'll still be a couple of weeks before we do have to say goodbye. But I think, it's great that with technology now we can Skype, we've got FaceTime, he may not be physically present, but we'll be able to connect and communicate with him pretty much any time we want. Gridiron has been incredible for him, because it's really given him something to focus on, and it's really helped him with his grades, it's really improved his academics as well, because that's an important part of the gridiron culture in the US. They really focus on that as well. So it's given him a lot of determination and focus. So
you sort of mentioned something I want to get to in a minute, but before we do, now I've completely forgotten the question, so I'll go back to what I was going to ask you about the academic side of things, because, you know, that is very important in the pathway in gridiron, and that's also a pathway through to college, which leads you, etc. Do they have an expected academic standard? Did they say to you, you know, did they ask for any school results or anything? Were you expect to provide that sort of stuff, or were they quite happy to take it?
Yeah, there is there are some differences that we've discovered, and I think it's probably no different to what it is here. There are certain schools that have higher expectations and limits because of demand. Yeah. But they do place some schools do have a higher entry requirement for international students. So they have a minimum requirement, so it might be, B's or A's and things like that. So it was, again, that goes back to that trying to find that right fit, that we're trying to find a school that was going to develop the whole person and not just, focus on his academics purely. We're just really blessed that Carl and Newman just opened the door and embraced him. They've looked at all his results and stuff like that, and they've sort of translated the Australian reporting to the American system, and they're happy with what Lachlan's been doing, and so he's doing really well as well. He's just.
Does that mean you'll end up with an SAT score, Lachlan?
Yes, I have to.
Oh, okay. No, it's standardised whatever test academic thing, isn't it?
I was just going to ask you, Lachlan, in that we just heard your dad saying that they were looking and talking to all these schools, talking to the coaches. Did you get involved in that process as well? Were you looking the schools up on the internet and going, no, I don't like the look of that one?
Well, most of the schools I looked at were pretty good, like from what I could see on the website. But it's not just, you got to look at also what they don't have and what I'm looking for, what academics I really want to do, and just the football program, how good is it, and all these things come to mind when trying to pick a perfect school to go to. And Carlton Newman seemed like a really good school to go to, with the coach and all, and the football program's good, the academics I looked like I would enjoy. And yeah, so I was kind of being put into that position where I had to pick my own school and help out my mom. Don't just throw everything on her and just do it yourself. I had to help her a lot, and I did talk to some of the coaches. I talked to the one in Nebraska, Mount Michael, and also the one in Colorado, Regis Jesuit. Talked to the coaches there. They're both really nice guys, and I probably would have enjoyed playing for them, but the academic side just didn't really suit what I really wanted to do, and so I decided to go with Carlton Newman instead.
What do you really want to do academic? Because you sound like, I must admit, when I was your age, it was that I wanted to be a professional sportsman. Academics, who cares? But you seem like a very focused young man who knows what he wants.
Yeah, I really wanted to do biology and probably history. I really enjoy those mostly, and Carlton Newman seems to have a lot of good history, especially in Florida, with all the Spaniards and complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in that area.
A lot of history in that area.
Absolutely.
And then also the marine biology over there looks really good, always being close to the ocean and all, and it just looks like an astounding academic.
Well, when you get that excellent SAT score, can I recommend a wonderful university, Pennsylvania State University at State College? They'd be certainly looking for a good quarterback by the time you're around.
I don't mind. I've looked at Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is a pretty nice place, just in general. I wouldn't mind going there.
Good football program,
yeah.
Again, I think you touched on earlier that one of the good things is that the coach where you're going at the high school at Carlton Newman is a quarterback. So, again, that must be something that really tipped the scales in your favour.
That kind of did put it over, and also the fact that he's played in the NFL and played under Peyton Manning, is one of the NFL's greatest at the moment, and also put teams into the playoffs like the Bears, and also, who else did he play for? Colts. Well, he wasn't playing for Colts, though. I mean, like, he was
Lovely debate going on here.
Well, yeah, but I forgot what else the team he played for. But anyway, yeah, so having that experience and having just someone that, like, knows how quarterback thinks and what he does on the field, it just really helps the coaching. Like, there's some coaches out there that don't, mostly defensive coaches, or like, don't understand how the quarterback thinks on the field and what he's going to do and what he might not do, and but it's really a mental game. And so if the coach isn't in sync with the quarterback, then it's not really going to work out that much.
I mean, NFL is notorious in the world of professional sport as cutthroat. There's, it's probably the worst.
It's a business.
It's straight up business.
Yeah.
And did you find anybody that, dismissed you out of hand, that wasn't even prepared to have a chat to you or talk to you at all?
There were a lot of schools that just didn't really want to talk to an Australian quarterback on the side of the road, because most Americans just disregard the international students, because it's like, this is our sport. Why should we get players from the international? They're not as good as us, and just having that thought process isn't really the best. Like, there's always going to be someone that's better than you, and just probably not the whole sport, but single positions. And so yeah, there were a lot of schools that didn't necessarily wanted to have a talk or chat to me or at anything.
But it was Steve Walsh excited for the exact reason that those guys didn't want to talk to you, that suddenly here is this young man from Australia coming over, and he's got the chance to maybe mould you into a first from outside of America?
Steve Walsh, I'm not sure what he was feeling about how I haven't had to talk to other schools, but he said that he's looked at some of my game film. He said that I have potential, and he said that if I worked hard enough, I could hopefully start varsity football and work my way from junior varsity to varsity, and hopefully become the starter for varsity. And he said that I have the potential to be able to do that, and also probably go to college if I work hard enough, which I will, and I'm focused and determined to do. So yeah.
One of the key things, and we see you've got your arm in you sort of damaged your thumb at the weekend, I believe, and are out for a couple of weeks. The key thing is, as John says, it's cutthroat, and you have to avoid injury, don't you? I mean, is there anything they're saying to you, like your dad says you've shot up at the moment, have you got to bulk up a little bit?
Yes, that's one of the things that George Smith had also said, the coach that had recommended the other schools, was that I have the potential, it's just I don't have the physical stature to face up against these Americans that bench 100 kilos, like 20 reps each. It's just insane, these 16, 17-year-olds that are already lifting weights, and yeah, I've got to catch up to them to be able to hit that level.
But again, asking your dad just quickly here, that's got to be very carefully managed as well, because, we see a lot of athletes that are suddenly put on weight programs that their bodies can't actually handle, and they destroy themselves.
Yeah, that's right. We knew that was probably one of the important factors that we needed to make sure that Lachlan had the right development. So as well as being his developing his mindset and his improving his skills and his throwing techniques and stuff, but also his physical development. He needs to be able to match it. So if he's got any chance to get into college, that was one of the fundamental underlying reasons why he needs to go as well, as particularly for that physical development. So, and that's we're looking forward to when we go over there, and we'll obviously go and inspect the school ground and the facilities, and just get to obviously have Lachlan welcomed into the school community and meet the coach, and just know that we're comfortable with all the surroundings and how they're going to develop them. So.
Just one thing just coming flashing into my head there. I remember years ago there was a swimmer who was in a similar position to you, Lachlan, where needed to do the training, and she set up in her room a bar for pull-ups. and every time she went into her room, she would do 10 pull-ups. And she said, you don't realise how often you go into your room, but it's slowly by doing it suddenly she was doing, so many, and she got that shoulder strength. And it maybe I'm just sort of thinking of that, it's just an idea that if you've got your room at college or whatever at school, it might be something you can just sort of throw in a couple of exercises before you go running out the door.
That sounds like a good idea. I should try to do that. Well, I'm also playing water polo at the moment, so that also builds up my upper body with shoulders and stuff like that, just constantly swimming. And
yeah. I was just saying I nearly drowned as a goalkeeper. So.
Yeah. Oh, and also the leg work that it takes to be able to get out of the water is ridiculous, insane. I came out of my first water polo training just in so much pain I didn't really want to walk for the next few days, just because it's so intense just trying to get out of the water and constantly staying out of the water felt like more than 10 seconds. It's just such a lot of hard work.
It is, and that's why I turned my back on it very quickly, because it was too hard for me.
Lachlan, it's obvious that sitting here talking to you that you're quite committed and determined to, go through with this, and you really believe in yourself. I'm sure you're smart enough to have figured out too that come that first high school game, when you're out there on the field, that as far as the opposition's concerned, you're going to have a big red circle with a big red dot in the middle of it. They're going to think that skinny white boy from Australia, we're going after a piece of that.
Yeah, it's basically, as soon as they see me, they'll be like, that guy's Australian, he can't play, and then I've just got to prove them wrong and show them what I can do over there. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. I know that it's not going to be just, I'm just going to walk all over. I've just got to train hard and focus on what I've got to do, my job, and try and help the team as best as I can. So, yeah.
I'm just thinking as well, maybe there's a sort of movie in this as well, if you're able to buck the system and go all the way through, you might make your money that way.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, actually.
Then someone else can actually play you and you can just sit back and count the money.
You wouldn't be old enough to remember Ronald Reagan, would you?
He's one of the presidents.
He was. Have you ever heard of the Gipper?
No, I haven't.
You'll be hearing about the Gipper when you get to America.
What's the Gipper?
He's a famous football player from Notre Dame, and Ronald Reagan famously played him in a movie. And there's a big line from it: "Remember the Gipper. Let's do it for the Gipper." It's
Oh yeah.
You'll have to look it up. Someone I'm sure will show it to you.
I'll remember to watch it when I get home.
So the big question is, when do you guys actually head off over to the States?
April?
Yeah, so it'll be after Lachlan's been heading to training for the junior nationals. So the junior national championships will be hosted here in Perth, from the 4th to the 11th of April, and then pretty much the day afterwards we'll be jetting off for a couple of weeks, just to take him over there and get him settled in.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we can stay in touch and maybe find out how you're getting on over there, but we'll maybe even have a chat to you before the Junior Nationals next year as well, and make sure that WA are going to win. How are we going to go in that? Do you think we've got a good team?
I think we have a good chance of getting there, yeah, definitely.
And you're just going to avoid the injury and get the thumb fixed?
Yeah, hopefully. I've got to focus on getting that back to working order and then start focusing on nationals. But first I've got to focus on our season here first, and then go on the nationals, and then...
How did you do the thumb again? Just share that.
Well, I did it on Saturday, and I've dropped back, and then I think one of the guys has come around on a blitz, and then I've either he's hit my hand or I've come down as I've thrown the ball and hit my thumb straight on his helmet. I still completed the pass.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. And then, it started really badly heading after that, and I just knew I had done something.
I was watching some highlights the other day. You only need one hand in the NFL, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that grab is unbelievable. Well, Lachlan and Justin, thanks very much for coming in. It's a great story, and hopefully we'll stay in touch and follow your progress, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much.